Sims team has been busy sending out surveys, and the latest one suggests that The Sims 4 is in for a base game update some maybe unexpected ways. And while some of these ideas I think are promising, there is one aspect I'm honestly not very fond of. Now, if you want to take the survey, I have linked it below, hopefully. I can't promise whether or not it will still be available because sometimes they close these off pretty quickly. Now that aside, I want to add a disclaimer because I know I get comments like this on these types of videos. Just because this is a different topic doesn't mean I don't care about bugs and problems in the game. I hope I make that clear. And I will say there's nothing wrong with trying to improve what is in the base game or the foundation. The first section is about tools and items. Overall, how satisfied are you with the ability to visually reflect yourself or your community in The Sims 4? Now most of these are from a scale of not satisfied to extremely satisfied. You do get comment boxes to explain your choices, which I think is important. Granted, I don't know how deeply they actually look into the comments, but I think it's important in terms of nuance because just because someone says they're satisfied or not satisfied, it only gives you so much feedback and it doesn't really tell you why. And while most of the survey does focus more on cast and build buy, they do ask how satisfied you are with Sims 4 gameplay in terms of reflecting yourself or your community. Again, a problem I have with some of these surveys is they are so vague. It reflects in what way? What about my community? Next up is, how important is it to you to have the following in your gameplay? These include tools to make my Sims look like people from my background, culture, and community. Again, I would want some more information about tools. What type of tools? What are they talking about? Tools to make Sims have similar hobbies as people from my background, culture, or community. Now, honestly, I just want more hobbies in general. Even though we did get the businesses and hobbies expansion pack, it obviously was pretty light on the hobbies, and I think having just more activities overall for Sims of all ages to do is a huge plus. Tools to make Sims have a similar cultural background as people from my background, culture, or community. Certain items to dress like people from my background, culture, or community. Tools to make Sims have similar qualities, traits, or aspirations. Again, I'm really curious what kind of answers people have for these or what general ideas. Just saying not important at all to extremely important. I'm really curious what kind of qualities, traits, or aspirations that the team actually has in mind. And then finally on this page, build and decorate buildings like people from my background, culture, or community. I will say, if this was not Sims 4, I would say one thing that would really help is create a world. Being able to create worlds and design worlds and edit them would be so enormous. And this honestly is something that I miss from the second and third Sims game that I like coming back to. And in Sims 4, just being so limited actually is a bigger problem. So when I look at this, I do think they can add items to make these aspects better, but it is the tools in Sims 4 that holds us back and potentially its very foundation. But my question is, what kind of tools can Sims 4 actually have? And that's where I would be really curious. I understand why they're not saying what they are, but on the other hand, it's hard for me to vote without knowing what they have in mind. They basically just replicate the same choices, only this time they ask you how satisfied you are with what you can currently do. They want you also to prioritize what is most important to you. You have 8 tokens to spend, and basically you can put as many points as you want, but you can only put 8 total. The options are more cultural specific recipes, regional cooking appliances, cultural festivals and holidays, rituals and customs, careers tied to cultural or social contexts, hobbies around music, dance, and sports from different cultures. Honestly, I bet a lot of people are gonna upvote that one. Also, representation of neurodiversity and regional and cultural traits or aspirations. I'd be really interested to hear what you think in the comments below. Which of these would you spend your points on? I personally struggle a lot answering these questions. You might think that I have a really strong opinion. I'm always very gameplay focused, but I think all these do have potential. But again, it just depends on what they actually are. It is vague categories, but at least it is more specific than the past pages. Thankfully, the next page is getting into more details. These appear to be ideas they have already brainstormed, and I'm not surprised if we will actually see these. Please note that all these are for the base game. They are free. Elements of Caribbean culture, which there's been a petition going around for this, so I do hope that gets some attention. Spring festival for Chinese New Year, Wiccan cultural events, Wiccan home decor, and Wiccan clothing, so I think that's likely we will get at least some of that, as well as International Women's Day, Mother's Day, Kwanzaa, the festival colors. I don't personally have a strong opinion on prioritizing one over the other. I would probably just say I'm interested in most of them. And then the next page, you have 11 tokens to vote for the following items: medical or adaptive wearables, wavy, curly, and textured hair, masculine clothing, which is very vague, children's clothing from around the world, elder clothing, again very vague, traditional and ceremonial clothing from global cultures, and honestly even more vague, hair options. What do hair options even mean? Gender neutral clothing, and more facial features. Wavy, curly, and textured hair is definitely lacking in the base game. I would say masculine clothing is not too great either, but then I'd really have to consider how I would disperse these tokens. This is just something that I think is hard to pick from, especially because what are more facial features, what are hair options, and also what kind of updates are they going to bring for skin tones, undertones, and textures. And of course, that is not the end of the survey, because now they're asking about new Creative items. Once again, you have to rank these Creative items from not interested to extremely interested on each one. Those include natural hair colors with grays, natural brown hair colors, eyes with cataracts, afro textured hair, natural blonde hair colors, curly hair, facial hair for feminine Sims, natural red colors, wavy hair, natural black hair colors, styles for masculine Sims, textured body hair, and natural eye colors. Have some of this already in the base game, so I'm assuming they're just saying they want to expand or improve upon them. Again, if we just had more options in terms of the tools and customization, then again, I do wonder if Sims 4 can even handle those in terms of functionality. But I've already discussed at length why I think there should be a Sims 5, so let's move on to the next page. Even more items they consider adding include medical clutter, medical tattoos or bracelets, guide rails, head protection for falls, heart monitors, ostomy bags, and bandages. Now again, I wonder if any of these would actually be functional. Personally, it sounds to me like it is just aesthetic, but some people might enjoy them for storytelling purposes. Next up, for build by mode, trees or plants native to specific regions, which honestly, I've been disappointed in so many worlds when we don't really get that. Regional furniture, cultural decor, regional architecture like doors, windows, and regional clutter. One thing I do wonder though is if they do want to add this for free to the base game, should they give us some new worlds for the base game too? That is just a thought. And you do have an opportunity to explain why you selected your most voted for items above. As usual, you have a couple tokens you can spend. In this case, it is 6, and you can use those points however you want to. They ask if you learned about free updates through the main menu, notifications, a Discord, a blog post, social media, or influencers. And this is where I have a problem, because the last page is all about how we can actually give more feedback. They ask us, how interested would you be in participating in a community vote to help decide future content? Now, we have done this before with stuff packs. It's definitely interesting. I personally enjoy it, but also the community gets really crazy sometimes. And maybe that's why they're doing this, because they said, are you a member of the Sims Discord? They also ask, how interested would you be in participating in voting on Discord? So in short, their plan is they want us to be able to vote, but only through Discord. I sometimes forget that Discord exists. The only reason I'm on Discord most of the time is for Paralyze and looking at the dev chats. I just worry this would be a small group of people, and maybe honestly that's the point, I don't know. Like I said in the past, it has gotten stupidly contentious with these votes, and people get mad at each other, but that is the Sims community for you. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. What features are promising, what aren't? At very least, this does sound like it's all free content, so we will just have to see what happens. And as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.